All right, let's do it. I said this to you shortly before we went live. I have no idea how long this is going to take because we have like 2.5 boss battles and it might take half an hour. It might not because it's the hardest thing in the game. So
2.5, you say?
Buckle up. Yeah, 2.5.
And we're doing the recap?
We are not doing the recap.
All right.
Alright, straight up fight Metal Gear. There are a couple of things going on with this boss fight. For one, it is a multi-phase boss fight. For two, it's not that easy. Here, you see that the general strategy for dealing with Metal Gear Rex, and I'm gonna straight up say there are probably parts of this fight where I'm gonna go quiet for a little while because holy damn.
Yeah.
First of all, you want to stay close to him. He has a mid-range attack, which is he launches missiles at you, which will royally fuck you up, as you might expect. The only way to damage him in this beginning thing is to hit that radome up there. He has a close-up attack, which is this stomp. If the stomp lands on you directly, it is a one-hit kill regardless of rations, as you might expect. He has a very close range, which is that laser right there, which is also incredibly damaging. And generally what you want to do is what I'm doing right here, which is just staying out of his line of sight, equipping the stinger, and trying to get a hit off on this radome. The hitbox is a little generous, but... Oh, I think we're gonna die. Yeah. The hitbox is a little bit generous, but at the same time, this boss is no joke.
As has been demonstrated.
As has been demonstrated. Luckily, you can just get right into it, and that's good. So for this first section of the fight, also... Chaps are a good idea, but they're not strictly necessary. We'll probably use them towards the end. Chaps literally just, like, disengage certain of Rex's attacks and make it harder for him to notice you in general. Yeah. And the thing about the stomp is, like, you get hit by the stomp and you're like, oh man, this, you know, just don't get hit by the stomp. And it's like, that's fair. But at the same time...
It comes out pretty fast.
It comes out fast, and the movement of Snake is so tanky that, like, once you're locked into running into a direction, that's pretty much it. Yeah. I might actually put on some armor for this. Luckily, we've got plenty of rations, but as it turns out, this first phase of the fight, you kind of don't want to use any rations on if you can help it. Whoa. And ironically, like, the way that this fight works, because Rex is so big, and it's so hard to see what's going on, you're kind of looking at the mini-map more than you are looking at the screen a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And again, it's just, he's just so big. And it is pretty much just, it's straightforward. It really is just kind of getting the pattern and staying out of his line of sight, if at all possible. And again, luckily that Ray Dome is It's a big target. You have to be really kind of in there to get it, but it's also hard to miss, I guess. Like, if you're in the general vicinity of the hitbox, you got it.
It's pretty forgiving.
Unlike the last fight we had with Liquid, which was not like that. Now, there are a handful of items around the room which help out. You've got shafts, you've got smoke grenades, you've got stingers, and we've got a ration up in the corner, which is also helpful. There goes his missiles. His missiles are... The thing about this fight that makes it weird is the implication at the start of the fight is that it's going to be like a ranged fight because there's cover all over the place. But that's kind of not the way that it goes. Staying up close is the way to damage him without getting outright killed. A lot of his attacks will just kind of chain into themselves, so if you are at mid to long range, you're kind of just screwed.
Who would have thought that the best way to avoid a giant robot killing you is to just not let it see you?
Pretty much. Metal Gear Rex is so cool.
Metal Gear Rex, I think, is cooler than Ray. And that's my opinion.
It's interesting that you say that for a couple of reasons, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. I like them both for different reasons, but the game designers agree with you, and the story agrees with you. There. There.
There.
Hey, you know what? I forget what the exact caliber of those miniguns are that he shoots out, but they are gigantic, like larger than 50 caliber.
Like the size of your fist.
Oh, bigger, bigger. They're like the size of 2 or 3 fists.
All lined up together.
Like they are like straight up tank busting almost, but just bullets. Like, the craziest thing for me is the idea that Snake gets hit by one of those and lives.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, the shockwave attempt, as you've seen me get hit by that shockwave. Yeah, you've seen me get hit by that shockwave a couple of times, and
it doesn't do a lot of damage.
Well, it doesn't do any damage if you're like at the edge of it. Like you'll still get the knockdown, but you won't take actual damage from it. That should have hit. What was that? Oh, man, get up. Nope.
I like that the dish turns to face you.
Yes.
There is a lot of articulation on this model, and that's very cool.
You can tell they had a lot of fun designing this thing. Like, a lot of fun. Like, you can clearly tell where Kojima's passions lie with, like, the tech in his games.
Mm-hmm. Giant robots.
The thing is, like, they approach... I don't want to say he, because I don't know how much of it was Yoji and how much of it was Kojima and how much of it was somebody else on the team. But, okay, get up, Snake, though. Snake, get up. But, like, we talked before about the detail that they like to go in with trigger discipline and, like, accurate gun models and things like that.
Yeah.
And it does the same thing here, except with imaginary robot tank.
It's well realized, you might say.
Yes, very well realized and very well considered.
God, the UI Foley in this game is so good.
There we go. It really is.
Did that do it?
Nice try, Snake! Die!
Hey, it's that ninja.
Hey, it's that Grim.
Great Fox. The name from long ago. It sounds better than Deep Throat.
It does.
It does.
Terrible snake. You have aged well.
I'll send you back to hell!
Fox, why? What do you want from me?
I am a prisoner of death. Only you can free me.
Fox, stay out of this. What about Naomi? She's hell-bent on taking revenge for you.
Naomi.
You're the only one who can stop her.
No, I can't.
Why?
Because I'm the one who killed her parents. I was young then, and couldn't bring myself to kill her too. I felt so bad that I decided to take her with me. I raised her like she was my own blood to soothe my guilty conscience. Even now, she thinks of me as her brother.
Fox.
From the outside, we might have seemed like a happy brother and sister, but every time I looked at her, I saw her parents' eyes staring back at me. Tell her for me. Tell her that I was the one who did it.
There you are!
We're just about out of time. Here's a final present from Deep Throat. I'll stop it from moving.
Fox!
In the Middle East, we don't hunt foxes, we hunt jackals. Instead of foxhounds, we use royal harriers.
Fox!
How strong is that exoskeleton of yours? Snake, are you just going to sit by and watch him die?
Cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal.
Destroyed the radome.
Impressive! You are indeed worthy of the codename Fox, but now you're finished!
No! Fire the stinger!
Fox!
Can you really shoot? You'll kill him too!
Now! In front of you, I can finally die.
So,
After Zanzibar,
if you try and fire at him,
taken from the
Can't do it.
Snake won't do it.
truly alive, nor truly dead.
No good. I can't do it.
Undying shadow in a world of light. But soon, it will finally end. Die!
And that's how you know he's dead.
Snake, we're not tools of the government or anyone else. Fighting was the only thing I was good at.
this man. He prayed for death, and it found him. You see, you can't protect anyone, not even yourself. Die!
Alright, so Phase 2. Phase 2 is mostly the same as Phase 1, with a couple of important differences. One of which is that the chaff grenades no longer really do anything, and that stun grenades will work instead. And instead of firing directly at the radome, now when you get out of his field of view, you fire directly at the cockpit. And
which is the harder target.
It is a harder target. He's gained a little bit more in the way of attacks, and is more, like, aggressive, I guess. But the mechanics of the fight are pretty much kind of the same. Ah! Fuck! Knocked me off trajectory when I hit him! Or when he hit me, rather.
I like that the missile pods are in the legs.
Ah, come on! Liquid, you son of a bitch! What? Are you kidding me? Right there?
Don't get greedy!
I'm really not. That one should have hit. Oh, what is happening? What is happening? Also, hello, Zell. Yes! Holy shit!
Yeah, boy!
Snake, I'll crush you into dust.
Oh, I need to take a drink. Knocked the color out of that scene.
Knocked the color out of that snake.
Punched the highlights out of his hair.
Man, fuck off. He was in it. How is he still walking and you can't even stand?
That's the power of the recessive genetic line.
That's the power of a Metal Gearism.
It's the power of having Cam Clark as your voice actor.
You're still alive.
I won't die as long as you still live.
Too bad. It looks like your revolution was a failure.
Just because you've destroyed Metal Gear doesn't mean I'm done fighting.
Fighting? What are you really after?
A world where warriors like us are honored as we once were, as we should be.
That was
A
big
day to
promise.
honor Cheerios and
It was his dying
Oreos
wish.
and Cherry.
When he was young, during the Cold War, the world needed men like us. We were valued then. We were desired. But things, are different now. With all the liars and hypocrites running the world, war isn't what it used to be. We're losing our place in a world that no longer needs us. A world that now spurns our very existence. You should know that as well as I do. After I launch this weapon and get our $1 billion, we'll be able
How?
to bring chaos and honor back to this world gone
Shut up. $1 billion was a lot more in 1998.
New hatreds will arise.
Yeah.
Then we'll steadily expand our sphere of influence.
But as long as there are people, there will always be war.
But the problem is balance. Father knew what type of a balance was best.
Is that the only reason?
Isn't it reason enough for warriors such as us?
I don't want that kind of world.
Ha! You lie! So why are you here then? Why do you continue to follow your orders while your superiors betray you?
That's a good point.
Why did you come here?
It is a good point.
Well, I'll tell you then. You enjoy all the killing. That's why.
What?
Are you denying it? Haven't you already killed most of my comrades?
That was...
True.
I watched your face when you did it. It was filled with the joy of battle.
You're wrong.
There's a killer inside you. You don't have to deny it. We were created to be that way.
Created?
Oh, Liquid is so good, and he's such a shitbag, but he's so good.
Les enfants terribles. The terrible children. That's what the project was called. It started in the 1970s. Their plan was to artificially create the most powerful soldier possible. The person that they chose as the model was the man known then as the greatest living soldier in the world.
Big boss.
But Father was wounded in combat and already in a coma when they brought him in. So they created us from his cells, with a combination of 20th century analog cloning and the super baby method.
Super baby method.
They fertilized an egg with one of Father's cells, and then let it divide into 8 clone babies. Then they transferred the clones to someone's uterus, and later intentionally aborted 6 of the fetuses to encourage strong fetal growth. You and I were originally octuplets.
Octuplets?
Yes. The other 6 of our brothers were sacrificed to make us. We were accomplices in murder before the day we were even born. So it was you and I, 2 fertilized eggs with exactly the same DNA.
That's not how DNA
But
works.
they
Not.
weren't finished. They used me as a guinea pig to create a phenotype in which all of the dominant genes were expressed to create you.
You can't have
I got all of the
exactly the same
recessive
DNA and have this happen.
Took everything from me before I was even born. But you and I aren't his only children.
What?
The genome soldiers. They too are his progeny, carrying on his genetic legacy. But they're different. They're digital. With the completion of the Human Genome Project, the mysteries of humanity were laid bare. Thanks to Father's DNA, they were able to identify more than 60 soldier genes responsible for everything
So,
from strategic thinking to the proverbial killer instinct.
In later games,
Those soldier genes
they
were
eventually
transplanted
retcon
into
some
the
of
members
this
of the next generation special
by
forces.
establishing
That's
that
how they
Liquid
became
is
the
really bad at
genome
biology
soldiers.
and doesn't know what he's
That's
talking
right.
about.
The genome soldiers that you've
That's kind of what I always
are
figured.
our brothers
Because,
with the
like,
same genes as
This is
ours.
not how this works.
The genome soldier.
I like that
That's
as a
right.
retcon.
They
Me
are
too.
our brothers, created
He's just
artificially
kinda
through
stupid.
the alignment of nucleotides
He's
to
just an
mimic our
idiot.
father's genes. They too are the product of numerous sacrifices.
Sacrifices.
Human experiments.
But it's worth it to get some
Sacrifices.
FMV.
1991, the Gulf War. The military secretly injected soldiers with the soldier genes.
You can't
For a
inject
century
people with
that
genes.
hundreds
No,
of
shut up.
thousands of returning soldiers complained about was a
We're
sign
exactly the same between you and I, with the same DNA, despite having different voices and hair colors and stature.
that was just a cover story issued by the Pentagon. First they tried to say it was
Our
post-traumatic
DNA is
stress
exactly
disorder,
the same.
then chemical or biological weapons. The poison gas detection units and the anti-sarin injections, they were all just a cover-up of the secret genetic experiments.
So then, the so-called Gulf War babies that have been reported by Gulf War veterans are...
Yes, They too are our brothers and sisters.
So the genome soldiers mean that the experiments were a success?
Success? Don't be a fool. They're a complete failure. We are on the verge of extinction.
What?
Have you ever heard of the asymmetry theory? Nature tends to favor asymmetry. Those species which have gone extinct all show signs of symmetry. The genome soldiers suffer from the same problem. Signs of symmetry.
I read this
So
in a
do I.
book once and put it in my video game.
That's right.
Isn't it neat?
We're all on the verge of death at the genetic level. We don't know when or what type of disease will occur. That's why we need the old man's genetic information.
You want Big Boss's DNA so you can save your family? It's very touching.
You've already got
In
it.
nature, family members don't mate with each other, and yet they help each other to survive. Do you know why?
Fuck,
It increases
Liquid.
the chance that their genes will be passed on to a new generation. Altruism among blood relatives is a response to natural selection. It's called the selfish gene theory.
You're telling me that your genes are ordering you to save the genome soldiers?
You can't fight your genes. It's fate. All living things are born for the sole purpose of passing on their parents'
Okay,
genes.
okay.
That's why I'll follow
While
what
there
my
is
genes
something
tell
to
me.
like clones and
And
genetic
then I'm going to
breakdown
go beyond.
via cloning,
In order to break the curse
it
of
doesn't
my heritage.
like none of this actually adds up. This is all just stuff that Kojima read once, thought was neat, and then wrote like an
To do
alternate
that,
history fiction
first,
around, but didn't
kill
understand how it actually worked.
Yep.
I fucking love it.
Look behind you.
Meryl!
Meryl!
Is she alive?
I'm not sure. She was alive a few hours ago. Poor girl kept calling your name.
Meryl.
Stupid woman. Falling in love with a man who doesn't even have a name.
I have a name.
No! We have no past, no future, and even if we did, it wouldn't be truly ours. You and I are just copies of our father, Big Boss.
Let Meryl go.
As soon as we've finished our business, we're almost out of time.
You're talking about Fox Die.
No. It seems now that the Pentagon knows that Metal Gear is destroyed, they've arrived at a decision. They won't even need a BDA. If you want the details, why don't you ask your precious Colonel Campbell?
Campbell, hear
You have
this
to say for
bullshit?
yourself.
Yes, I'm listening. What is the Pentagon trying to do? Colonel, answer me.
Big bada
The
boom.
Secretary of Defense has taken over active control of this operation.
We were
He's
also
on his way
betrayed
there
by our
AWACS.
superiors.
What for? To bomb the place. What? Not
Big
only that,
bada boom.
B-2 bombers just lifted off from Galena Air Force Base. They're carrying B-6113 surface-piercing tactical nuclear bombs. What? Metal Gear is destroyed.
Okay,
Tell the
I
Secretary
don't
of
understand
Defense.
this fully,
The
and maybe
Secretary of
you
Defense
understand this
heard that
better.
Naomi
But
Gunn
Yeah.
lost us, and he's worried about Fox
Shadow
Die.
Moses has been
Now that there's no more
explicitly
danger of a nuclear
noted to
strike
have
from Metal
access
Gear,
to,
he's
like,
going to do
not
whatever's
only nuclear
necessary
waste,
to cover
but
up the
also
truth of what
several
really happened
nuclear
here.
warheads,
He's
right?
going to
Like,
drop a nuclear
Uh-huh.
bomb to
like Rex
vaporize
has
any
the
evidence
ability
along with
to
anyone who
launch
knows
them via the
anything.
railgun,
Don't
so
worry,
it stands
Snake.
to reason that they would be
I'll
there.
stop the nuclear
They
strike.
are there. Yeah.
So
I may
by
only be a
by
figurehead here,
striking
but
the
I'm still
facility
officially
with a
in command of
nuclear
this
bomb,
mission. If I issue an
not
order
only
to
are you
delay the
leaking
strike,
all of that
it'll
material, but
confuse
you're
the chain
also
of
probably
command
going
and
to
at
set
least
off the
buy you
other
some
warheads
time.
that are already
It'll
there.
give you a chance to escape. But
Leaking the materials is a genuine concern,
It's
but
okay, Snake.
nuclear warheads
Truth
do
is,
not detonate
Foxhound was
sympathetically.
already the
Okay,
subject of an
okay.
undercover investigation. Merrill was
This is
transferred
still
to this base
Alaska,
just before the
though. I
terrorist
should point that
attack
out.
As a way of manipulating me.
But it's also an island.
I'm sorry. They forced me to
It is.
cooperate in exchange for her life. You better get out of there, Snake. Are you
So wait,
sure?
what did he just say?
It'll be bad for you. Don't worry. It's the
Snake,
least I can
get
do
out of
for
there.
you. After
Get out
all
of there
the
before the whole
lies.
place blows up.
Colonel.
I'm gonna
Something
do
about
Ordering
Meryl.
them to cancel the bombing run. After
Yeah,
that,
get out of
there's
there
no
with
turning
Meryl.
back. What are you doing?
I'm gonna do something I shouldn't so that you can save yourself and my niece.
What happened to the Colonel?
I don't believe it.
What happened?
Snake the Colonel. Roy Campbell has been relieved of duty. This is the Secretary of Defense, Jim Houseman.
Put the colonel back on.
He's been placed under arrest for leaking top-secret information and for the crime of high treason.
Ridiculous.
Yes, he's a ridiculous man. He truly believed that he was in command of this operation.
You bastard.
There won't be a speck of evidence left. I'm sure the President would want the same thing.
President ordered this?
President is a busy man. I have complete authority here.
How do you plan on explaining a nuclear attack on Alaska to
Yeah.
the media?
Don't worry. We've prepared a convincing cover story. We'll simply say that the terrorists exploded a nuclear device.
Smart. You'll be murdering everyone here. The scientists, the genome army, everyone.
Donald, the DARPA chief, is already dead.
So, you didn't mean to kill the DARPA chief after all.
He was my friend.
And you could care less about what happens to everybody else, huh?
Well, if you give me the optic disc, I might consider saving them.
What are you talking about?
Metal Gear's test data. Donald was supposed to bring it back.
I don't have it.
I see. Oh well, that's okay. You two are an embarrassment from the 1970s. Our country's dirty little secret. You can't be allowed to live. Well, the bombs will be dropping soon, and you two have a lot of catching up to do. Farewell.
God, what a scumbag.
There's no way out for us.
Hey, Bix.
Yeah?
It's time for my favorite boss fight in the
Finish
game.
this before the airstrike.
Yeah?
You remember when I compared the storytelling in these games to Yakuza?
Yeah?
Everything
You notice how both of these guys are really muscular and shirtless?
death can
Yeah?
satisfy me.
Yeah, guess how this
Only your
game ends.
death can return to me what is rightly mine. She'll make a beautiful sacrifice for our final battle.
This is also the hardest boss in the game.
Do you see this? It will be the time limit for our final battle. This nuclear mine
Is that
was
necessary?
set to detonate at the precise moment
Is any
of
of this necessary? Is that the
There-
PS1 model? Is that the texture for the fucking PlayStation in Otacon's office?
Oh my god, is it?
I could be wrong, but it looked like it.
You might still be able to save her.
I think it's the modified
Enjoy
texture.
one brief moment of lull before the end. If you cross this line, you'll fall. At this height, it will kill even you.
Yeah, how are you on top of Metal Gear? When did that happen?
Have at you, Snake.
It's a good question. So, here, yeah. There's a couple of things going on. Wow, he just disappears when I do. Okay.
There he goes.
A couple of things going on with this fight. You've got your 3-hit combo. You've got your toss over the edge, and he'll kick you. He's good at it. He's got some more moves that we'll see in a minute. He damages you a lot, and if he tosses you over the edge, you mash to get back up. There is also a hidden mechanic to this fight that I hope will not happen, but if it happens, you'll know.
Nice shot!
Otherwise, this is the final boss, and it's fucking great.
Better hurry. It's going to blow.
He hurts you a lot more than you hurt him.
Better hurry. It's going to blow.
There are a couple of ways that you can do this. At some point, the 3-hit combo stops working, and you can only go for 2. When he misses with the kick, I believe you can go in for 3. Oh, nope. Sometimes that just doesn't work either. In a lot of ways, this is similar to the Gray Fox fight.
Except you have no healing.
Except you have no healing, and
No stun grenades.
And it's pretty straightforward. Also, he has a move that really sucks and will just about one-hit kill us, especially if we have this much health left. Yep.
There it is.
That charge does a good, I want to say maybe quarter of your life.
Whoa.
And he likes to spam it.
Have at you, Snake.
But the just straight up the spectacle of this fight is great, and I like it a lot.
Can you throw him over the edge?
You can't toss him over the edge. Like I believe that you just straight up can't. But I could be misremembering, and if you can, he just gets right back up. Like, or you might be able to toss him over the edge. It's not even. You might be able to toss him over the edge, but you can't, like, hit him while he's over there. Whereas when you're on the edge, sometimes he will, like, step on you and try to get you to fall. Also, yeah, the only real thing about the boundary control is the time limit. Like, it obviously doesn't do any damage or anything, and it's not a particularly hard button mashing sequence to kind of get up there.
But it costs you precious seconds.
Yes. And the time limit is pretty much half the fight. Yeah, like, when he's down here like this, you can't do anything. But when you're down there like that, he can hit you.
It would be nice if he took, like, at least a little bit of damage when you did that.
It would be nice. In fact, tossing him over the edge also kind of hurts you because
Because it's time you're not spending damaging him.
Exactly. But it does give you a second to kind of catch your breath, which is good. I like that you both have the same run cycle, though. Because we're the same, brother! We've got the same genetic material! We're exact clones of one another, despite being quite radically different in a few ways.
Better hurry. It's going
Fuck off, Liquid. Do your kip like a martial arts cool guy.
You're out of time.
Little bit, huh? Ah, shit. Come on, get up. Get up so I can hit you again.
Come on! Did you get him?
Yes! Okay, there's a hidden mechanic to that fight. If you don't hit him off of the edge when you get him like that, he comes back and he regens some of his health and you have to do it again.
Whoa.
It's not like a full health bar thing, but if you just kill him in the middle, he just gets back up with like a quarter of his health and you have to do it.
That's fucked up.
Meryl?
Meryl!
Snake, is that you? Snake, oh, you're alive. Thank God.
Meryl. Meryl, are you okay?
Are you okay? Is that all you can say?
Meryl, it must have been terrible.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. I didn't give in to the torture.
Torture?
And things even worse than that. I was fighting too. Just like you.
You're a strong woman.
Fighting them made me feel closer to you. I felt like you were there with me. It gave me the strength to go on. But I was scared.
I'm sorry.
Don't say that. But it made me realize something. During all the pain and shame, there was one thing I was sure of. a single hope that I held on to. And that hope kept me alive. Snake, I wanted to see you again.
Meryl. That's my Kodak.
I thought nobody else was supposed to be able to hear that.
Shut up.
Snake.
Otacon, good news. Meryl's okay.
All right.
Otacon was
You
listening the
saved
whole
her,
time.
man. Good job.
I got some bad news too. We're about to be bombed.
Oh boy. I guess we're considered expendable.
Is there a way out of here?
A way out? Yeah. You can take the loading tunnel to the surface. There's a parking garage right next to you. The tunnel leads from there to the surface.
The door in front?
No. It's a small entrance to the
So,
west of that tunnel.
I mentioned
How about
that
the
there are
security?
two endings in this game.
Yeah.
Take care of security along
We
your
have
escape route, too.
activated the good ending
you going to do?
by surviving the Ocelot torture
I'll
sequence.
stay here.
Are you crazy?
If you do not do that, if you give in and let him, if you surrender during that sequence,
Unlocking the security
Meryl
doors is
dies,
difficult work.
and
Only I
this
can do it.
this whole like
Otacon,
last half kind of
Don't worry.
changes.
I'm staying here. It's my own decision.
Otacon,
Instead of
this is a hardened
like the
shelter,
next
but they're going to use
sequence
a
taking place with
surface-piercing
you and
nuclear
Meryl,
bomb.
it takes place
won't
with you and
hold.
Otacon,
I'm
and
through
Meryl
regretting
is
the
dead.
past. Life isn't all about loss, you know.
It also affects an item
Snake,
that we'll talk about a little bit
I'm
later.
a complete person now. I've found a reason to live.
Good. Don't die on me.
Same to you. Take care of Meryl, okay?
I will.
Okay, I gotta go. I promise I'll do something about your escape route.
Thanks.
Thanks? Well, that sounds nice.
I believe in you.
Thanks, Snake.
No, sounds dumb when you say
Get
it.
the hell out of here.
What about him? Where's Otacon?
Otacon?
He's fighting right now. With his old self. To be the
I'm
man-
surprised Otacon was like, yeah, fuck you, Snake. You get to
Fighting
keep
for
your
us too?
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't enough that you had to shoot mine, you had to take the only other one on the base? That's what Kojima was thinking.
That got left on the cutting room floor.
That's right.
Meryl.
Snake.
I want to point out, she did that, like, jump after being shot in the leg with a sniper.
Yeah.
Meryl's kind of a
Like-
badass.
The rest of her body, too, don't forget.
Oh, yeah.
I must be heavy.
You'll be shot through the entire body. No mercy.
Looks that way.
Seems that
There's a
way.
bullet. There's a bullet for every second of your life.
Let's get out of here.
Snake, it's freezing outside. We need some clothes.
There's my sneaking suit.
Hurry up.
That sounded to me like he said, "That's my sneaky suit,"
It is his sneaky suit.
which I like a lot more.
Hurry. Looking good, Snake.
You look like you don't have eyes.
And that's what I like about like how the art direction is carried over even into the horrible PS1 textures. I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
Like obviously it looks terrible, but within the constraints it looks really good.
No.
And it is still very clearly stylized, and I like that. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Da-da-da-da-dun, 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 da-da-da-da-dun. Oh, shit. Shit, Square Enix. You know what? Why don't I drive, actually?
Surveillance camera.
Can you handle, like, a gun on the back? Because if you can do that,
No keys.
I think we might have a plan for how to get out of here.
Are there any more rations in here, perhaps?
I don't remember if there are any rations in this room or not. It would be nice if there were.
Snake, jump in.
Zoom on in there. Oh, there's one.
Yeah. Good call, me. Why?
Snake, hold on.
Yeah, see, just shoot the barrel. barrels.
Okay, that's a little bit better. Whoa!
You took a lot of damage that first time.
I really did. I love the brazen, like, Snake, we can't get through there. We might run over the guards. And then she just fucking rams through the gate like it's no problem. Like, what? Like, what is this?
Snake. Okay, Snake, let's go.
Don't you see? You can't make it.
It's so ridiculous. It's such.
And then Snake's like, I implore you to reconsider. You just gotta reverse the capture method. That's all.
I need to reverse polarity on this machine gun. Now, I don't expect for a machine... Yeah, I did. I don't expect for a machine gun to be, like, all that accurate or anything, but at the same time...
Even though they super are, especially when they're mounted.
But, like, in a video game, right? I don't expect, like, a...
Video game logic.
And it's like, it's ironically, Liquid is, like, the easier of this encounter, right?
Because you've already beaten him. It's kind of like a victory lap.
This is a cutscene. This is a playable cutscene. This is why I was talking before about how the
2.5 boss fights.
Yeah, the end of the game has 2.5 boss fights. Metal Gear Rex is 1, arguably 2, but it's 1. And then you've got Liquid. Liquid! And then you've got this. This gets a really fun callback later in Ground Zeroes that I like a whole lot. Eat one of these rations. He's taking these shots like a fucking champ too.
Yeah, he won't go down.
And again, for the PlayStation 1, this is pretty rad.
It's pretty rad, I'm not gonna lie.
Pledge of Demon. Like it's in an underground tunnel and everything.
It's just that it's Jeeps instead of motorcycles.
The only thing that it's missing is Liquid Snake not having like a pipe.
Yeah.
Look, Snake, daylight. We're gonna crash.
Meryl,
Daylight for the first time in this game.
You seem really bad at driving, Meryl.
Oh no, not daylight in a PS1 game. No, that looks okay.
Yeah, it looks alright. It's mostly cutscenes from here to the end, though. I mean, it's entirely cutscenes from here until the end, but you know what I mean.
Meryl,
Yeah.
are you okay?
Yeah, just a little shook up.
Meryl, can you move?
It's no good. I can't move.
What happened to Liquid?
I can't see him either.
Liquid's dead. Uh-oh.
Snake!
I really like that you can hear like the cooling tick of the engine.
Yeah.
They didn't need to do that.
Snake!
But it would have been a little weird for it to just be silence.
Yeah!
Yeah!
It's so stupid. It's the best.
Fox, die!
Fox.
Why? Real-time fan dub replaces every instance of Fox die with Fox. Why?
If he's dead, that means...
It was me, Snake. I'm gonna piss on the moon.
Say it, Snake.
Yeah, don't fucking
What
jinx
happened
it.
to the air raid? No stealth bombers in sight.
Isn't that kind of the point? Am I mistaken?
Snake, can you hear me? Colonel,
I believe the point of a stealth bomber is that it moves too fast to be picked up on radar.
Defense has been arrested. Early retirement.
It's not like invisible.
I was able to get into contact.
Yeah, but this is the Kojima-verse.
It's true.
The training exercise, all of it. It was all the Secretary of Defense acting alone.
Acting alone? What happened to the air raid and the nuclear strike?
The orders were rescinded. The F-117s and the B-2 Spirits have returned to the base. Once again, I have complete authority over this operation.
I see.
Washington isn't stupid enough to use nukes to cover up a few secrets.
I wonder about that.
In any case,
Yeah.
the danger's over. Thanks, Snake.
Colonel, you can rest easy. Meryl's fine.
Really? Thanks.
I beat the
Thank you,
minigame.
Snake. Snake, I'm sorry. I kept a lot of things from you.
You did.
It's okay,
You
Colonel.
did.
Snake,
Is it?
I'm not a colonel.
You kept that from me
Oh,
too?
that's right.
I've got a present for you. There's a snowmobile close to you. Mei Ling saw it on the satellite photos. This time of year, the glaciers are pretty calm. You should be able to ride right out of there. I'll bet the boys at the DIA and the NSA never expected you to come home alive.
It's probably a
Me
really
neither.
big problem,
I better
actually.
not show my face
Yeah.
around here.
No danger of that. You two officially died after your Jeep sank into the ocean.
That's not
On
too
account
far
of
from the
Meryl's
truth.
driving.
Also, there's a helicopter waiting for you on Fox Island.
Dr. Hal Emmerich should be somewhere on the base. I want someone to bring him in.
I understand. Leave it to me.
That
Okay,
sounds like he's
Roy.
gonna kill him.
Are you gonna be okay?
Or arrest
Don't
him.
worry. I've got an
Don't worry,
insurance
I'll
policy.
take care of it.
A hard
Wait,
copy
Roy,
of all
I
Mei
don't
Ling's
mean
data.
shoot him.
As long as I've got that, you, me, and Mei Ling will be fine.
The battery on these nanomachines will run out soon. They won't be able to follow us.
I guess we won't meet again.
Don't worry. I'll pay you a visit sometime.
It's a shame that this was the
Really?
last Metal Gear
I'll
game
look
they ever
forward to
made.
that.
The first
Roy.
and only.
Just
The
tell me
third
one
and
thing
only.
What?
about Fox.
The first
Guy.
and only Metal
Meryl
Gear
will be
Solid.
fine.
There you go, yeah.
She wasn't included in its programming.
What about me? It killed Liquid.
Naomi said that she wants to talk to you face to face about that.
How is she?
Don't worry. Mei Ling is with her right now. I'm switching over to Naomi.
Snake, it's me.
Naomi.
I heard about my brother.
I'm sorry. But he had one last message he wanted to say to you. He told me to tell you to forget about him and to go on with your own life.
It's not what he said.
Frankie said that?
Yeah. He also said he'll always love you.
Did not say that either.
Naomi, your brother just saved you, me, and the whole world. He fought with every ounce of strength in his body.
Maybe. Maybe now he's finally found some peace. He wasn't really my brother anymore. Ever since he fought with you in Zanzibar, he's been like a ghost. A ghost looking for a place to die.
Naomi, Liquid died from Fox Die too. What about me? When am I gonna go?
That's up to you.
What do you mean?
Everybody dies when their time is up.
Yeah, so when's mine up?
Not what I asked.
It's up to you how you use the time left to you.
Not what I asked.
Not what I'm
Snake.
asking.
It's all I can say to you.
No, it's not.
That's not fucking helpful.
It's not fucking negotiable.
Each person is born with their fate written into their own genetic code. It's unchangeable, immutable. But that's
You're gonna
not
go
all
to
there is
Alaska,
life.
you're gonna fight Metal Gear, and you're gonna be fucking pleased about it.
I told you before, the reason that I was
I don't
interested
want to
in
fight your
Endsville
fucking Metal Gear, you
because I wanted to
basket
know who
case.
I was.
Stick it up your fucking dick hole.
My fucking what?
I thought that if I analyzed my DNA, I could figure out
Liquid,
who I was.
you're pushing me over the fucking
I
line.
thought that if I knew that, then I'd know what path I should
My
take.
god.
didn't find anything.
I'll put my
I didn't
dick in the
learn
Metal
anything.
Gear.
I did that when I was younger, and it was a bad move.
They could input all the genetic information, but that doesn't make them into the strongest soldiers. The most we can say about DNA is that it governs a person's potential strengths.
Oh,
potential
man.
Destiny. You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. Snake, whether or not you're in the Fox Die program isn't important.
It kinda is.
Choose life.
But Liquid died like 2 minutes ago at random.
Don't worry.
But also, if you think about it, if he's a carrier, wouldn't he have to be asymptomatic?
Well, the thing about carrying Fox Die is that Fox Die is only designed to kill a certain amount of people.
Well, it's designed to kill specific people.
Yeah, like it's specifically a plot virus.
Right.
For the future through our children.
As far as I'm aware, I think Snake is the
Living is a
only
link
person
to
who
the
it can hurt right now.
That's how all life works.
But wouldn't he have succumbed to it already?
Loving
No.
He's been exposed to it for the longest.
Well, that's it's random in that way.
It's a Kojima-ism, is what you're saying.
That does come up, but for the purposes of Metal Gear Solid 1, it's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Also, how similar is this to the end of RE4?
It's pretty similar.
Look, I found this.
Let's keep it as a reminder.
Of what?
There's something I'm thinking of. I'm not going to say it live, but I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
A reminder of how to live.
Are you thinking of it too?
Yeah, I know. I think I know what you're talking about.
Until today, I've lived only for myself. Survival has been the only thing I cared about in my life.
I really like the ending to this game because it's so like
everyone is.
unambiguously a happy ending in the way that the Metal Gear games really don't do. But the reason that I'm talking over it is because this game, by the nature of there being so many other Metal Gear games, this has been
Maybe it's time I live for someone else.
it's kind of void.
It's a little irrelevant.
It's also the most overwrought that Kojima has ever been with, like, it's time for us to live. It's up for humans to make their own way in the world. Time to love one another. Live and let live. And it's like, I appreciate it, and I really like how sincere it is, but it kind of doesn't amount to anything. Also, his name is David.
So where to, Dave?
His name is David Hayter.
We look for a new path in life.
A new path?
A new purpose.
Will we find it?
We'll find it. I know we'll find it.
What are those?
Caribou. To the Aleutians, the caribou is a symbol of life. It'll be spring here soon.
For us too.
Aren't you on an island?
Spring brings new life to everything. It's a time for hope. I've lived here a long time, but Alaska has never looked more beautiful. The sky, the sea, the caribou.
You're welcome, Cosmo. You're here for the end.
You.
I think I'm gonna like this new life.
You're the most beautiful polygon I've ever seen.
Let's enjoy life.
So yeah, if you do the mini game and you can't beat it and you succumb to it, instead it's a different ending, a way less happy ending with you and Otacon riding away instead. But yeah, so she also gives us in that final bit there, she gives us the Infinity Bandana. When you start a New Game Plus, if you save Meryl, you get the Infinite Ammo Bandana as a sub-weapon, excuse me. And if you save Otacon, you get the Stealth Camo instead.
The stealth camo seems more useful, not gonna lie.
Sure does, doesn't it? So that was Metal Gear Solid 1. I love this game, and I love this series so much. What'd you think?
Pretty good.
Like, for the time and everything. Also, again, only 2 of those names are correct. Oh, and Scott Dolph. Scott Dolph is also correct. He's like the VA guy in the later games. He also shows up. Yeah, no, this game is great. This is actually the Metal Gear that I played last. If you believe it, I started with 4, then played 2, then played 3, then played 5, and then played 1. Because for the longest time...
Model map, I saw it.
That's right. For the longest time, I didn't have PS2, so I kind of had to skip those games, and I didn't have any knowledge of what Metal Gear was until I was, a little bit older. But for the fucking PlayStation 1, how ambitious was this?
Pretty fucking ambitious, and it paid off besides.
It paid off. It looks great. Like, MGS1 is very historically significant in that it and Final Fantasy VII both... Oh, hey there, VOD mute. And Final Fantasy VII both kind of, like... They changed the landscape of gaming, because without the success of these two, the PlayStation would not have been what it was and wouldn't have changed the way that games were made and produced. Like, Nintendo would still be the dominant species on the planet, would destroy us all.
And they'll destroy us all to make it happen.
That's right.
Destroy us all.
If not for the PS1, we wouldn't have, like, CD-ROM, like, that would not have been, like, the dominant form of the way that games went.
The dominant species on the planet.
That's right. And we would have probably kept with... We probably would have kept with cartridges and a dominance with Nintendo. Which is a very interesting, like, alternate history to think of, but kind of just going back and being like, wow, this and FF7 were so huge. Like, even at the time, and, like, I say that this was the last one that I played, and going back to it years later, even after playing Phantom Pain and playing 2 and 4 are my favorite. I'm one of those weirdos. Even going back and playing them now, I can totally understand why so many people think that this is, like, the best one. Because in a lot of ways, it's, like, the tightest, it's the shortest one, it's, like, moment to moment, nothing but iconic scenes. It's fucking great. Aside from the controller, which the controller lacking analog movement does hold this game back quite a bit. Part of the reason that I love 2 so much is because all of the issues that I have with this first game were, like, not only solved, but blown out of the water by the second one. And it's got such a great cast. Like, Foxhound is incredible, Liquid is great. It's all so good.
It is quite good. And I will say that I am impressed with it. Both as a work of art and a technological showcase of the period. It is... I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say it's phenomenal.
I think you would have a hard time finding people who would disagree with that. Like, I've got my problems with Kojima's writing. He's not... I love Kojima as an artist. I don't think I like him as a person, from what I understand about him. But, like, as an auteur, I can totally... I really appreciate what he does with games. I feel like, in a lot of ways, this was... It's just such an impressive, like, first foot into this console, right?
Right.
It is... This was essentially what ensured him to make... This was his meal ticket for the rest of his life, pretty much.
Pretty much.
And,
well,
like,
it was his meal ticket until Metal Gear Solid 5.
Until Metal Gear Solid fucking 4 in some way. Like, people really don't like 4, and I think that game gets a bad rap a lot of the time, but there's definitely problems with it. But yeah, until 5 happened. But then, you know, then 5 happened, and then he immediately got snatched up and has, like, way more creative freedom now than he ever did with Konami, and, you know, for all the good that did with how Death Stranding turned out, which, again, I like.
Yeah, for better or worse.
But it's up for debate, right? His creepiness never changes, and in fact gets worse. But also, every game in this series is better and more complicated than the last one, which I appreciate very much. Also, check this out.
You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. The important thing is that you choose life, and then live.
Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out. Those two are still alive. The Vector? Yes, sir. Fox die should become activated soon. Right on schedule. Yes, sir. I recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead data. No, sir. My cover is intact. Nobody knows who I really am. Yes, the DARPA chief knew my identity, but he's been disposed of. Yes, the inferior one was the winner after all. That's right. Until the very end, Liquid thought he was the inferior one. Yes, sir, I agree completely. It takes a well-balanced individual such as yourself to rule the world. No, sir. No one knows that you were the third one, Solidus. What should I do about the woman? Yes, sir. I'll keep her under surveillance. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. President.
Solid Snake will return in Metal Gear Solid 2.
For a time.